right. Well, to close things out today, I've got a special Canadian reading series from a guy who I think I think he has earned the title of the basically Toronto's John Cass. I'm talking about the legendary scrawler Joe Warmington. Joe Warmington is a Toronto Sun columnist, and yeah, he is basically kind of the Canadian version of John Cass. And this column is titled. By the way, this column I had to find on the is available on the Internet Archive Wayback Machine because it was taken down by the Toronto Sun for reasons that will become apparent as I read it. But this is Joe Warmington. We seem to applaud gang culture.
Uh-oh.
He writes here, get within 2 meters, the city calls you selfish and dangerous. Say the following on live TV, like former Coach's Corner host Don Cherry, and you lose your job and are branded a racist. Quote, you people love our way of life. You love our milk and honey. At least you can pay a couple bucks for a poppy. That's what Chris talking about when Don Cherry was getting mad about people not wearing the poppy.
Oh, that was a big deal up here. Yeah. So angry.
Do people obviously in Canada do not go as crazy at the poppies as the Brits do? Right,
no,
like it's.
I'd say like there's a specific type of columnist that wants us to go that crazy.
Is there there isn't even like a Canadian Gallipoli or anything, right? Like they didn't get as owned as the other Commonwealth powers did during that.
There's about to be, once I get this thumb drive with the old anarchist cookbook in it to Alberta, you're going to see Gallipoli times 10 pussies. Let us secede.
Yeah, the battle for Edmonton.
yeah. Dude, me and Aaron raising the flag.
So it says here, so if you say, like, if you go on TV as Don Cherry and tell people to wear the damn poppy, you lose your job. But if you rap, got hosed and I'm keeping in the dark. I got my, across the street living large, thinking back to the fact that they dead. And you're an ambassador for the NBA champion Toronto Raptors.
Oh, boy.
Things are backward. Toronto is still reeling from the brazen daylight slaying of 21-year-old rapper Houdini. A 15-year-old boy and a 27-year-old woman were also struck. If only 3 people shot in broad daylight in Toronto's entertainment district struck as much a nerve as the pandemic picnickers did in Trinity Bellwoods Park. Other than to say it makes him very angry that a few people take a safe city and turn it into a situation like this, Mayor John Tory has been quiet. But on the cherry blossoms, he closed down Hyde Park. On people getting too close to walking their dogs, he introduced $1,000 tickets. One too many congregating at the park, he scolded people like criminals. Now bringing in his George Orwell-style circles to kettle people while gangsters shoot and kill as part of a culture that comes with a soundtrack of racist, misogynistic, and violent tracks. Even Houdini foreshadowed his future in his hit songs. Cherry lost his career over next to nothing, while Drake isolates in his Bridle Path mansion, bragging about his new lake-sized pool. Houdini is dead. If he'd committed a social distancing violation, perhaps someone would have intervened. Now, this is obviously all an assault on Drake and the fact that he is, a sort of a global ambassador for Toronto and the Toronto lifestyle. Mm-hmm. This column was taken down by the Toronto Sun, though, because the lines that he attributes to Drake, which are, once again, got hosed and I'm keeping in the dark. I got my across the street living large, thinking back to the fact that they dead. Drake never. This not
no a Drake. Like he thinks Drake is like drilling shit. Like no, Drake doesn't think that. Like this is insane. Like the story of Houdini is insane. It's an insane story, and there is a lot of insane like Toronto gang stories. It's not like really like it hasn't gotten quite as crazy as like Chicago or Jacksonville or anything, but like it is very darkly funny to pin this on Drake.
Yeah.
The idea that like all these gangs started because they saw Drake in 2014, like singing about like red messages and being like, oh, I have to like kill everyone. I want to be just like him, so I'm going to start a gang.
He's hooked an entire generation of Canadian youth on taking half a Xanax during an international flight.
Yeah, it's like, this is like saying like that the gangs in Chicago started because of Kool in the Gang. That's where Larry Hoover got the idea.
So, yeah, and then I was just going through Joe Warmington's archives, and he has done about 30 columns in the Toronto Sun over the past 2 weeks, referring to the what he refers to as the Terps in Afghanistan being left behind, and by that I mean he
means exclusionary, radical
perfusionists.
Yeah,
perfusionists.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Damn, that's what Lovell believes. Damn. First J.K. Rowling, now him.
No, the Terps, of course, are the interpreters, and like I said, I mean, like that's what Warmington's columns. Like I said, like for a reading series, that was really quick. It was like basically 2 paragraphs, but I mean, he just. Scrawler, he just fucking churns these things out, man.
He's a content fountain.
He's not like John Cass, where John Cass, it's like, well, like got up this morning and peed in 3 streams as always. One of them's black. It's been that way for the last year. a bird came in and like made a cry that sort of sounded like the word fat. There were 7 dead rats leading to my doorstep. My wife hid the maple syrup. There's not a lot of expository writing with the scrawler.
Yeah, no, there's. I mean, like that's the thing. Like, he is kind of the Toronto John Cass in that he is just like he's like, Don Cherry can't go on TV and tell immigrants to go home, but Drake can talk about running through the 6, doing littering. Get it out of here. Things are backwards. But he because I mean it's like kind of sums up the difference in Canada and America. It's just he doesn't have the same instinct to share details from his own personal life, which makes it, I mean maybe he's not the Canadian John Cass because like you gotta have that anguish. You have to have that personal.
Yeah, you have to be miserable,
existential fucking pain in everything, and then he's just kind of he's just a guy shaking his fist.
This is why I like Donda better than CLB. Like yeah. CLB is like not bad, but it's like, man, this isn't human. Donda's human. John Cass is human. John Cass is like, I want to kill myself to eat sausage.
So I guess we're coming here to the only reasonable conclusion: Canadians are not human.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, no, there's a reason the entire world consumes American art, but like there are only a few things that make it out of Canada, and they're genius products. It's Drake. It's Trailer Park Boys. It's nothing else.
You can't think of any more. Kids in the Hall.
Nothing.
Yeah. Cronenberg. Yeah.
No. There is a lot of good Canadian shit, but it doesn't like Americans. We put our shit out there in the world, and we turn people. We like bite them on the arm, and they become like everyone becomes a little bit of American. No one's becoming Canadian.
It's true. The Canadians just become American.
Exactly.
Well, you have to if you want to get anything out.
I mean, to close out the I think the final really the final nail in the coffin of America's dominance over Canada. We just talked about how Drake, is Canada's biggest cultural export. He's making an impact on the world. He showed everyone about the 6, but who has now displaced him as the world's foremost owl guy? That's right. Me, Will Menaker.
Oh man, yeah.
That OVO shit is over. As soon as I'm out there with a great Eurasian eagle owl on my wrist, the open step, wind in my hair, Drake, it's over for him. It's over for OVO. Will Menaker is the reign of the owl. The court of the owls begins now.
Did you look directly into its eyes?
Yep.
What did you see?
It's not so much what I saw, but what was taken from me, which is my soul. But it's being guarded. It's being like my soul is in a safe place now. It's in the owls.
An owl is like for your soul. An owl is like those little things in airports and bars where you can charge your phone.
It's like Aaron O'Toole's employee savings account.
Yes. Yes. Your soul grows.
For your soul.
Imagine 1.8% compounded interest on your soul every year. By the time you retire, you have 2 souls.
No, I mean, my soul is currently it's with the owls now. I mean, they have it. I expect they're going to take good care of it. I mean, it's in their possession. But in exchange for that, through semen retention, I will be greatly crystallizing my pineal gland. So whatever I lose in sort of soul loss, I will make up for in warrior-like real energy that comes from never nutting.
That's why the doctor feels your balls. Like doctors they all work for the deep state. Mm-hmm. A lump in your balls means that there's crystal forming, and chemotherapy destroys that. And what do they all? Everyone knows it. Everyone's had a relative that's gone through chemotherapy. What do they always tell chemo patients? You have to jack off 4 times a day. That's what the MRI is doing. The MRI is like a big fleshlight you go into.
They're trying to prevent the great third eye awakening.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we went on this falconry excursion with our friends from New Mexico, and one of the things our friend told me was that in New Mexico, of course, owls are there's a lot of sort of like indigenous folklore and mythology about owls, that they basically like they are the guardians or conduits for the souls of the dead. And a lot of that, like the main reason is because owls are the only bird that can look you directly in the eyes. And,
I would be so fucking mad if the guardian of my soul after I died, like flew into a window. I feel like such a fucking asshole.
Or a jet engine.
Yeah, it would be like when you get to your terminal and your flight gets canceled. Your soul's just standing around there like, well, okay. I guess I can go to Soul Cinnabon.
Your soul's tasty half sandwich at the bottom of the dumpster crawled in and then got trapped in there and died.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to like go to the land of the dead, but my soul like got run over. My soul escort got run over, and now I'm going to the Soul Brookstone to read a Soul John Grisham book.
You're stuck at the Soul Hudson News for the rest of eternity.
It's not so bad. You can get soda there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of the books are just Killing Yourself by Bill O'Reilly. in the Hudson News Purgatory.